Hello there, folks, and welcome to the stream. My name is Mike D'Angelo, aka That Tellest Guy, and we are back today looking at our mountain map. We are getting to a point, I think, where we're going to start calling this the mountain river crossing. I was talking it over with Rihanna, and we came to a couple of good decisions about what we could do with this map. So we already had a couple of points of interest that I threw on the map before she and I started discussing, and before this stream started, so I just wanted to kind of point some of these things out real quick. Number one, we've got the stepping stones over here. You can see they're already on the background layer. Reason being, I figured what we could do is come in here and kind of make them look like they're partially submerged. So let's come in here real quick. We've got the opacity down so that these can be kind of blended in a little bit better instead of just being completely overwhelmed. I'll just do a couple of passes like this. I'm not even going to use the stylus because I don't necessarily need it to be super precise. But I do like to, when I know that something is partially submerged like this, I like to try and get rid of some of the excess black lines that we have there. So we'll do that. Certainly over here we can do that as well. With all these stones, and then what we're going to do with the rest of the map is we're going to put like a wagon that needs to try and figure out a way to get across this. So if you're, a group of adventurers who is coming across this area, you can try and figure out a way to ford the river if you need to. Again, just trying to blend in those black lines a little bit. They don't need to be super pronounced. You can see when you're messing with the opacity like this, you do a lot of changes. We're already up to 118 because you have to do a couple of different passes in order for it to take. Okay, that's pretty good. Let's actually take a couple of our little flocking stones and we'll throw a couple of these in here too. Make it look a little bit more. I don't like how many of those are like the one stone and the other stone next to it. So let's do a couple of other big ones. These ones, let's just mess with the opacity on these ones. I don't have to go super big with those ones. This can be pretty simple. All right, we've got 159 changes. Let's do a quick save just to make sure everything's looking good. While that's saving, we'll just bring your attention to the 100 Maps of Tellest bundle that just went live today. It is I think like $270 savings. Yeah, close to $270 savings because it's 103 maps that are usually $2.99 each, and you get the entire set for under $40. So not too shabby. And then we of course have the original 50 Maps of Tellest bundle, which is actually 59 maps on 187 variants. Again, pretty good deal. This is a savings of $150. So go check that out if you'd like. All right, let's come back in here. We're going to go to this, and we're going to make it look a little bit more like... Oh, it would help if I was on the foreground. Make it look a little bit more like a path that's been tread a little bit. And then same thing over here. Come down like this. In this case, you'll notice that I didn't really come up to the edge of the map up here because I didn't want to have to blend it into whatever's going on up here. Down here I don't really have such compunctions because I don't have to worry about that anymore. So we'll do that. You can hear the pooches, big old barksing down there. We've got a second set of POIs over here. I decided to throw some kind of runes on the stones over here and put like a cairn stone standing over here as well. Now that I think about it, let's try and grab on the top layer. We'll try and put a little bit of moss down on here. You figure there's a lot of like dragon stuff in this general area and a lot of the map stuff that we've done so far, and there's some culty stuff, so I figured there was, you know, some dragon symbols, some magic symbols, stuff like that. Let's do 75%, and let's change the texture scale to about 15. You're not going to play nice with me? Okay, makes it look a little bit aged. We don't really need the text here anymore. All right, so let's find our wagon. Let's do like a Conestoga style wagon, and we'll throw that up here like they're beginning to make the turn. Let's get ourselves a horse. Carriage horse bridle over here. Perfect. All right, so we're missing one big thing, and that is one of our humanoids. Now this is one of our items that we have in our set. So we have, let's just throw this guy up here. He's way too small now. I think they need to be certainly not that small. Make sure that that one's not a weird one. Nope, they're all kind of that small, and I don't know why. It's just the way I uploaded them. Alright, so we've got our carriage person, we've got our horse, we've got our carriage. So that's kind of our third point of interest. And then let's do something else that Rihanna and I were talking about, which were some graves. I thought that there was something gravy. We've got the graveyard. Oh, we've got the mound of dirt, which is, I feel like, a little too... doesn't really do what I want it to. Let's try and see if we change the transformation aspect of it. Doesn't quite do what I want it to. Let's try and take a look at one of our other maps real quick and try and keep some consistency between things. Let's go back to the overview, and we've got Kev's Hillside Cemetery. Let's head back here real quick. I think I saw something that we might be able to use. Let's see. We said we didn't see anything when we were looking for grave, huh? So that sure looked like an exhumed grave. Oh, there we go. All right, so we've got a dug up grave. Throw that down to 30. And we're going to do a couple of these. I feel like that is above my grid, and we need to make sure that that's not the case. Okay, and let's go. Sorry, I closed those. Let's look at. So Kev used the dirt piles, which are fine, I suppose, but I think what we're going to try is do something a little bit different here. We'll use one dirt pile. And let's make it so that that is a little less shadowy. Okay, and we're going to grab these and we're going to throw them to the foreground. And there really shouldn't be any shadows, so let me take that off real quick. Right, that actually looks like it's in the ground now instead of, for some reason, over top of it. And we don't really want to see the coffins anyway. So let's, oh, it would help again if I threw them into the foreground. The reason we're doing that is we're going to go back to our little dirt stuff here. Let's try and, I think the opacity is... Ultimately, I want to try and make it so that these look a little bit different, so. It gives you a good indication of kind of like the shape that you need and everything. I like how that part got kind of muddy. Let's do that on top. And let's do, we're still over here in the graveyard stuff. Let's do some tombstones and stuff like that. We'll do something a little bit bigger here. We'll say this was the first person who passed. This one's a little bit smaller, and then that person down there. Not a lot going on yet. Let's see if in the graveyard set we have something that we can use that kind of looks the right way, and if not, we'll make like a little cross or something. Which is kind of a little paranachronistic because there is in theory, in this world, there wouldn't be any Christianity, so there'd be no need for a cross. But we'll put one anyway. Let's do pole. Oh, it would help if I was looking everywhere. Okay, we've got these wooden poles here. Let's do... Barely going to be able to see it. Let's make it a little darker too so that it's a little bit more visible. Anything that we can do with the shadow here? Oh, that was weird. I don't like that at all. Alright, we're going to leave it like that for now. Once we go into high def, we'll see how that looks. But we got some graves, we got some wagons, we got some stepping stones. Let's do a save and we'll take a look at our sponsor. And now, a word from our sponsors. Bright, quirky, and full of charm, The Mulberry Constant by Sherry Andrews introduces us to a heroine whose brilliance might just change the world. This clever, speculative tale mixes whimsy with wonder, as it follows a young girl whose extraordinary intellect is matched only by her curiosity. With humor and heart, Andrews crafts the story about possibility, about opening doors not just to the future, but to who we might become. It's breezy, imaginative, and just the kind of tale that leaves you smiling. Check out our full promo for The Mulberry Constant by Sherry Andrews on the Tellest website. Alright, we are back. Let's move on to the next phase of this map, which is going to be, if you'll see over, not the Hillside Cemetery, if you see our statuary chessboard map, we've got a lot of busy stuff over here in like the corner. That's what we're going to do down here. So we're going to try and make this down here a little bit busier. It used to be that briefly for the folks who had like the Explorers set available to them, it might have even been everybody. I could come in here, I could hit copy, I could bring it over to here and hit paste, and it would actually paste. I do not believe that that's going to happen now, but it is thinking a lot, so who knows? Oh, dip. All right, so they brought it back. That's a pretty big deal. All right, let's rotate stuff around and see what we got. It was a happy little coincidence. Maybe what we can do down here is throw together like a... Oh, did I have something up there that I didn't need? No, it was just me thinking of stuff. Matt is going to be very happy. It's one of the things that Matt was disappointed about was not having the ability to copy and paste across maps. Let's do that, and we'll do... You can tell we're using the new campsite stuff. Grab a couple of these. Where were they? Where did you go? A couple of these burnt pieces of wood. We'll throw them in there too. Make it look a little bit more realistic. One of those, and then give me a log for other people to sit in. Or on, I should say. Let's skinny this one up a little bit too. Make it look a little bit different. And let's get a couple of those boletus mushrooms. Throw that onto one of these. I guess this one's a little bit more beat up, so I'll do it here. So with these ones, you want to kind of layer them on top of the log. Make them almost look like they're a little staircase for fairies. Let's get a small one over on this side too. Maybe we'll do... You know, I always have it looking yellowy. Let's try and make this one look a little bit desaturated. I don't want to make it look too crazy over here. Let's do more of this guy. The doggies are being shushed. Alright, got a couple of those. Let's head back to our statue chessboard and we'll see what else we can grab. Get a couple of these bushes and flowers and stuff. I am really psyched to tell Matt about this because this was one of the things that he really wanted back. Makes life really easy. And let's do this one, and we're going to darken this a little bit. Keep the opacity down, maybe even further. In theory, it makes more sense to do this as lines, but son of a bitch. Oop, pardon my language. Soft pass up here, making it look like people have made it across before. Maybe they even went this way. Alrighty. It's looking pretty good so far. I don't think that we're going to wrap things up quite today, but we are pretty close. Let's grab some blue flowers. We've already got the pink ones. Oop. I like to throw these next to the rivers. In places where you can hide things that don't look as good. Sometimes you just throw them there just because. Alright, so we've got that. Let's throw at least one or two of the yellow guys down too. Let's desaturate that one a little bit. That's pretty good for now. I think what we'll do is we'll end up wrapping it up next Tuesday. Perhaps. We'll see. And let's head over to our show closing screen. So folks, on the screen right now, you'll see all the places that you can find Tellest content out on the internet. Tellest.com is a great first place to start. It'll bring you to our other projects. We also have 3 map-specific websites that you can go to get our stuff. Patreon.com/Tellest is where you can get all of our digital maps for a low monthly cost. It's like $5 a month for what ends up being 8 maps at least every month, and $10 a month for all the variants as well. You saw we do a ton of variants that make their way onto Patreon, Etsy, Drive-Thru RPG, all that stuff. Etsy.com, the Tellest.etsy.com link is going to bring you to our physical maps. We are still trying to figure out with our new partner all the things that we need to do to make that work, but we are getting there. Battlemapfantasy.com is where you can go to get our maps in kind of like an a la carte style. So if you don't need, 200 maps right away for $5 a month, you can go to Drive-Thru RPG and get them $3 at a time if you need them like that. Or you can get the bundle and you can get 100 maps for 40 bucks. We've also got a couple of TikTok channels. At Weird Witch Wands is where you can find all the stuff that Rihanna's working on. And at Tales of Tellest is where you can find all the stuff our doggies are working on. 2 other video sites that you should check out. YouTube.com/@WorldOfTellest is where you're going to be able to see all of our videos after they've made their way through the Twitch channel. But Twitch.tv/ThatTellestGuy is the only place where you can go to check us out live, get your quest coins, and get ready for some of the other cool stuff that we've got coming on down the road. But that is going to wrap us up for this week. We'll catch you next week. But until then, I miss you.